What are we talking about?
Social media and how it's so poo-poo.
It is pretty poo-poo.
Right? I think what we should start off with R.I.P. Lucas Coley.
Yeah.
First of all, we were talking about earlier how social media is just a crazy place because I used to... Did you love him back in the day too when we were younger?
I thought he was cute.
I don't
but
know.
I know a lot of girls like were really, really obsessed with him. And, like built this like the Wattpad fan fictions about him.
He was big on
yeah.
that. I wasn't like obsessed like that either, but I just did like him. Like, you know, I was like, wow, he's so cute. Now all this stuff is coming out with Amber and stuff, and it's like so sad to hear all of that. Like,
I was just seeing so many videos of them resurfacing, and I just feel like social media is a crazy place because time and time again people feel like they can say anything behind a screen. But I just feel like when there's a death involved, especially the way it was done, I feel like there's so much respect that should be given on all fronts, especially like I remember seeing people coming for Amber trying to blame her, say that it's her fault. That is so evil to do to somebody that's grieving. And I feel like if people saw Amber in real life, there's no way you would say that to her face. But online, you want to say this and you want to say that. There has to come a place where, fuck social media, we're just thinking about morally, what would I be okay with doing as a person? And if you are not morally okay with doing something, don't do it. I feel like social media is such a gateway for a lot of negativity and hate, and just it gives everyone this protection. And it's so sad because these things that you say and do really, really affect people. I couldn't even imagine everything that she's going through. He is being bashed for being an abuser because their relationship was toxic, and
I think it comes down to, once again, that like I feel like people struggle with understanding for some reason, and I feel like it's always people that like clearly aren't very intelligent, because it's not a hard concept to grasp that two truths can coexist at one time, and we're very multifaceted individuals, like all of us. I remember like when I was going through my grieving process and I was talking to my best friend about this because she had lost her brother, she was saying how it's so weird because like to her brother was an angel, her brother was her world, and that's how I felt too. My partner was like literally an angel on earth, like a gift to me. There's so many people that didn't like them, and so many people that are like, he was this bad person, like what are you talking about, he wasn't a good person, da 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 da. And then that's when people come in and they're like, he deserved what happened to him, da da da. And it's like,
that is the sad thing, people are talking about what people deserve.
Yeah, and people are saying like, who are we to say what somebody deserves? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna be like for some cases, yeah, like extreme cases, of course, I understand that. For example, like the Menendez brothers and like what their father and mother did to them. Like,
those parents deserve that.
Yeah, that's not up for debate. Like, you know what I mean? But like other things, I just think it's like, it's just not our, like, who, I'm not God to be like, yo, this person deserved this and this person deserved that. But I just think too, yeah, truths can exist. Like, he was abusive clearly, and he was a narcissist and all these things towards her, but like this was still somebody she loves. And I think that that's when it gets really conflicting, because you're grieving, wow, okay, well, this person towards me that hurt me so much is not here anymore, but I love this person regardless.
Yeah, you don't want them dead.
Yeah, like that's never the solution to it. That's such a permanent thing, you know?
Yeah.
Give people grace. People have been so tough on her, and see, that's the thing about social media too, though. People are so quick to support you, but they're even quicker to tear you down.
Yeah, to switch up on you. And it's just like whatever is being said, it's like, okay, I'm gonna be on this side, okay, I'm gonna be on that side. And I feel like social media has such a way of doing this whole like black and white narrative where it's like either good or bad. Like, that's all. There's no gray area. No gray. Humans are so complex. There are so many facets to a person, so many things that could have happened, so many things that social media may not even know about. So for everyone to speak on things as if they are, again, God, and they're gonna damn people. Oh, she deserves to be bashed because it's her fault why he died. Oh, he deserves to be dead because look at what he did to her. This is all really serious, heavy conversation that people are taking so lightly.
Do you not see that that's very concerning, that somebody can hop online, and I'm not talking about them, I'm not talking about Amber and Lucas, I'm saying people in general. Do you guys not find it concerning that somebody can hop online, say something, and then that's it, and then somebody else comes on saying something completely different, and then that's the opinion you believe, and then that's it? how gullible are we as human beings? Like, not everything you can take for face value.
Yeah.
You can't
take
like,
everything as
well,
a
she
fact.
said that, so obviously they have to be telling the truth. Why would I even question it and ask the person, like, how do you know this is true? No, they're just telling the truth, that's it. Yeah, I just heard it, so obviously it's the truth. Why would they lie? What do you mean? Like, what? Do you know how many people lie? Like, you know how many people are just pulling things out their ass on any given Wednesday, Friday afternoon? All the time, people are just saying things, and there's no credibility behind it, and that's why people need to educate themselves before forming an opinion. Like,
when we first discovered that he passed, I went on Amber's Instagram and all her comments were turned off. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because people were just spewing bullshit and hate under her comments. A woman that's clearly grieving somebody that she's been with for the past 8 years of her life. 10 times out of 10, in real life, you would never say that to the person. That is not your body. Like, you would not say that to the person.
People treat people that are in social media almost as they're like a spectacle. Like, they rip the humanity out of the situation and out of them, and now they're just a character. They are a human being with feelings, emotions, their own thought processes.
It just really makes you lose faith in humanity, though. Do you guys actually think like this? Like,
I feel like it's what we've allowed as a society to
go on.
Yeah.
With grieving and with any trauma, there is no perfect victim. Like, get that out of your brain. There's no fucking book that people go by where it's like, oh, well, when you're grieving, you shouldn't go on live and you shouldn't go on social media and tweet about it. What do you mean? Like, you're grieving. Why would you post something and it's the day he passed? Do you know what I mean? Like, yo, like, there's no perfect outline for this.
But people are going to find an issue with everything, though. If you don't post, if you do post, if you say this, if you don't say that, people are going to have something to say all the time.
Why did you say it like that? Why did she take 3 days to say it? But if she posted on the day of, you'd be like, why is she on social media saying this? Or why is he on social media saying this the day of? There's always a problem, and it's like, bro, like, there's no right or wrong way to go about this. And that's the thing about trauma and grief and, like, such complex, heavy, intense traumas like that. Like, it makes you, when you're even out of it, when you're out of this whole grief fog or whatever the trauma is, like, when you're able to step out of it and you're in a better place even a little, you're like, wow, why did I post that? Or why did I do that? Or why did I say that? Or why was I acting like that? Or why were these the choices I was making? You know, like, you even yourself, like, people who really know trauma will be like, what, why was I acting like that? Bro, you're not okay. It's not a normal state of mind to be in. So, like, you may do things that look out of character and you don't perceive as quote unquote morally appropriate for the situation, but there is no perfect victim, and I think people need to understand that. Like, sometimes it looks ugly. Sometimes people also, in their trauma and their fucking worst of the worst moments, do shitty things and they say shitty things, and that's okay. They're not less of a victim for it. That's not how it works. Just because they're not doing everything that you think they should be doing or looking so perfect and acting so perfect does not take away from the fact that they are a victim in this situation.
I'd say there's just hurt all around, so everyone just needs to be respectful of everything. Like, just picture it if the social media landscape was a funeral. How would you conduct yourself in the funeral setting? Everyone's going there to grieve. She's there, his family's there, his friends are there. You're not gonna go around to people and be like, oh, da-da-da-da-da, right at the funeral service. Like, are you not taking in time and place? And people do not care about time and place because people just think about themselves. And I feel like we're really lacking empathy in the world that we live in now, and I just want everyone to always remember to be empathetic.
You can't even begin to imagine what it feels like to be that person. People are just like, why did they do that? Like, they shouldn't have handled it like that. Like, if it were me. Yeah, but you're not in it, right? And you never have. So, like, you do not get to tell people. It's not you, though, and you've never been in that situation, so it's never going to be your place to judge that, ever.
Yeah.
It's not your life, right? Like, step back and be like, is this my life I'm criticizing and critiquing? No, it's not. So just shut up. Just stop talking immediately, because it's not your life, and you'll never understand until you actually go through it yourself. So just stop. I just think we have a tendency to feel like we're so important, everything we say is important, and like, no.
So I need to get my point across all the time. Doesn't matter time or place. I want to get my point across. Me. Yeah.
Like, this is what I want to say. I think that no one cares. There's no room for that. Nobody cares. Absolutely not one person.
Unless it's a RIP or my condolences, like, keep it pushing.
Everything you think is not true. And that is something we all, even myself, I need to understand that a lot of the time, because I think some negative things, some very dark negative things, and just because I think it doesn't mean that there's truth to it. You know, our brain lies. So it's like, just because you're thinking it doesn't mean that you need to just blurt it out. So many judgy people, like, you know, there's just so much judgment in everything. When has that ever worked? When have you seen shaming somebody to death or judging somebody to death work? Like, have you seen that be productive? Like, you know, whatever it is, if someone's grieving or they're going through a mental problem or trauma or addiction or death, whatever it is, have you seen shaming somebody be like a productive mechanism for this? Because I haven't.
But at that point, it's not even about the other person. It's just about you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like you don't care about those things because you're just thinking of yourself in those moments. To make yourself feel better, actually, too.
Literally, you wouldn't even survive some of the things that these people are going through.
People are not just pictures. They are people with real problems, and mental health is a real thing. And for everyone, like, please check in on your friends. Try and get them help. Serious help, because it doesn't matter. You may seem like you're up or you have clout or you have it together. You don't know what somebody's going through until, again, it's too late. And sometimes you can't even help them. You can't even save them. Some things are gonna happen, like, regardless. That's like the scary thing.
Yeah, it is scary. And a lot of people you want to help, it comes down to them wanting to really help themselves. Check up on your friends. And I feel like we always say this when somebody passes, when it's like Mental Health Awareness Month or whatever, follow that. That's something you live by on your day-to-day life. Like, when people aren't looking even, it's so true. Like, so many people, you're like, their life looks good, they're doing good, they're so happy, they're always joking, they're always laughing, and it's like, you don't know what that person goes through when it's just them by themselves and it's time for them to go home, what they're going to sleep thinking, what they're waking up thinking. They don't even want to be here anymore. And this needs to be talked about. Like, men's mental health, like, it's just unfortunate because, like, a lot of them can't talk about it. Their friends will be like, bro, like, what? Like, what's going on? What are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean, fam? Like, yo, you had, like, come on, bro, you're free, you're outside.
You have nothing to complain about. Be a man.
Be a man, like, you're blessed, you know? And it's like, bro, and then they shoot themselves in the brain, right? And then we're like, holy, like, why didn't I check up on my homie? Why didn't I check up on my friend? Like, they were, you know, a lot of time people are literally, like, begging for help. You're not even noticing, like, through their tweets or through what they post maybe, or through, like, jokes they make. We're not realizing it, or instead we kind of, like, just place judgment and shame and make it an embarrassing topic, and people don't want to talk about it, and someone's mother is burying their child, and that's when we're like, okay, wow, we need to take this serious. It shouldn't have to come to death for us to be like, wow, so many people are not okay, you know, and like, what can I do to maybe help? But what would you say are things you could do to help somebody, like, if they have a friend struggling or a family member struggling?
That's hard. Like, what you can really do is just try and be there, but then there's certain situations too, right, where we can't discredit. Some people are so far gone, maybe it's not healthy for you to be around them if they're abusive.
If they're abusive, get out there.
If they're abusive, it may not be healthy for you to even be in that situation, so you might have to outsource and just help them from a distance. Let somebody else be aware of what they're going through. It's hard. It's really hard. People need professional help sometimes. Like, yeah, your friends can be there for you, but sometimes your friends can only do so much because you're not a licensed therapist.
Definitely, I think it's, like, tricky because there's, like, lines that have to be there. What Destiny is saying, like, say somebody's abusive towards you, right, and you know that they're really struggling, and, like, unfortunately, that's how it's projected. That's how their trauma is projected. They become a very abusive person towards people that they quote-unquote care about and love. You do have to remove yourself from that situation, and it sucks because I think we've all been there where you want to help somebody, but they're destroying you in the same breath. I tried to help you and now I need help, you know? And I think Amber even talked about that on live, and she's like, I did everything that I could or felt like I could do, but I couldn't help him. Like, sometimes you can't help people. And
don't put that burden on yourself, because that's so much responsibility and pressure for one person to carry. Sometimes people need to journal, people need to even sit with their emotions, go through
sometimes
the worst to get better.
Yeah, literally. So many people, lead on addiction and times like that because you can't live with who you are. You can't live with the life that you're living. Recovery is possible, and they turn into this beautiful person, no matter how dark that road is. And it might be dark for a while, but I think that when it comes to people who aren't per se abusive, like it's not hurting you. It's something you're capable of, like, still being there for them and helping them. I think active.
So you're saying active listening?
What I mean by that is not like waiting for your turn to talk, really listening. And sometimes that doesn't even mean that they're looking for a solution. They just need to be heard and listened to.
You just need sympathy and understanding. Sometimes all you need is, wow, like, I definitely understand that sucks. I'm sorry. Like,
you're going through such dark moments. You feel like no one is as sad as me. No one knows how I feel. No one feels this pain. It's just me. People need to know they're not alone in their suffering. Don't place shame and don't place judgment. Make it a safe place. I'm always going to be here for you, and I mean that. Like, you can call me at any time, and I'm going to be here. I'd rather listen to everything and sit on the phone with you for 5 hours than never get a call from you again because you're not here anymore.
Because people feel like a burden, and I feel like you have to remind them that they're not.
You're so tired of yourself because I just feel like a dark cloud. I don't want to come around nobody. Like, I'm just going to be miserable. I don't want to do that to my friends, But it's like, no, like, I promised you they would rather listen to what you think is all this negativity than them never see your name pop up on their phone again. They can never come to your house again. Like, I was even reading this poem. I think your sister actually sent it to me, and it was like about, and it was like 5 years after you yourself or something like that, and it was like your mom came home and she made spaghetti, and like you love spaghetti, and she hasn't like been to your room since. It
really does affect people.
It really does. Like, people would rather you be there. I promise. Like, anybody that is listening, that is going through it, like, don't cry. This is just like, it makes me so sad. Like, I promise, people want you here. It's so sad. I don't want anybody to ever feel like that. I promise, people want you here. We want you here. We care. Like, people care about you, and you need to know that people care about you, and your life is so, so important. I promise, it's so important.
It's so crazy because, like, I know I said it as a joke, but it actually wasn't a joke. Like, obviously you've been, like, struggling with depression for, like, a long time, whatever. And the last time I was here, Nick, I slept over, and you went to the bathroom, and I don't know, because I could just tell, like, recently you've been, like, really sad, like, I was gonna say you're always sad. You're not always sad, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's been worse.
It's been worse than regular. And when you went to the bathroom, and you were in there, like, for a long time, and I was like, hello? And you were like, yeah, and I'm like, please don't kill yourself. Like, are you taking a shit or are you killing yourself? Like, which one is it? Like, why are you in the bathroom for so long? And it's like, even the thought that, like, that came into my head, I was just like, damn. But it's like that anxiety that, like, I have. I just randomly, like, got so worried. And it's just scary because, like, that, it's something that can never ever happen. And it's just so sad that, like, people have had that happen to them where, like, their loved one really did exit because they're like, I just can't do this anymore. And I just want everyone to know that, like, so many things are capable of change. Even when you feel like you're at your lowest, it might not always be like that forever. And it's like, there's a lot of lows, but there's a lot of highs too. The two can coexist, and I feel like all of it is, like, worth it at the end. The lows and the highs, and you never ever ever know what the future is gonna hold. Like, you actually never ever know.
Yeah, it feels like it's gonna be so shit forever. Especially when you've been struggling for so long. It's like, it's not getting better. Like, people have been telling me, like, yo, it's gonna be okay. And it's like, yeah, okay, but I've been sad since I was 12. Like, it hasn't got better, So I completely get it. Destiny gets it. I get it. So many of us do. I think that, like, when you're that low, you feel like that's the best option. And that's why it really gets me angry when people are, like, selfish, because I don't think people understand what it feels to be in such a dark place. These people are doing it thinking they're being selfless, like, people don't have to worry about me anymore. Like, I won't be a burden anymore. Like, it's gonna make everyone's life better if I'm not here. They don't have to worry about me doing this. They don't have to, like, come to the hospital because I OD'd again or whatever. It's not the better option. I think that you deserve to, like, come to a day where you're happy and you have people that genuinely love you, and like you deserve that. I remember having a conversation with my boyfriend and I was talking about how if I died it wouldn't matter. I'm just one person. Like when you really think about it, like it's not gonna cause this ripple effect in the world. People will be okay. And he was like, no, like you don't understand that you're so important to the people around you. That's not like you're not this little thing, and like you would go and nothing would matter. And then when he died, like it really put into perspective like how like, important one life is.
Part of you died, it's like okay, and it's like you would have done the same thing. Like
parts of you died, and there's been parts that like, you know, you're like, wow, like that left the day they left. Go on because you have to, but you don't want to. Every day would be better if they were here, and your life is so important. Even if your brain is telling you it's not, it's lying to you. If there's at least one person, I promise, that loves you, or there will be, you know, like you will find somebody that will love you and understand you and care for you, and you will be their whole world if you do not have that yet. So and you deserve to see that. You deserve to, you know, live and get there and experience that.
I really like what you said when you were like every day would be just better though with you in it. Even if maybe that person was not in your life anymore, just knowing that they're out somewhere doing their own thing, you're out somewhere doing your own thing, it would just be better knowing that at least you're there, at least you are experiencing, at least you are growing, at least you are learning. Like that's just so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
We're under the same sun still, you know? And then it's so permanent. Their best friend isn't here, their mom isn't here. That same conversation I had with my friend who lost her brother, I remember when she said that really was like, damn, because she was like, I've been 50% since, you know, like ever, like I'll never be whole again. Like never ever will I be whole, because I lost my best friend. I lost somebody so important to me. I'm never gonna be whole. It's just not gonna happen. And that's one person though. With the way I was thinking, like, oh, that's just like dismissing everybody's lives, you know what I mean? Like, and the value of a life and how important it is to think like, oh yeah, I'm just one person, it doesn't matter. Like, no, it really does. And it hurts so much to like, just imagine you coming to my room and I'm never gonna be here.
Like I can't talk to you, like there's like any like new accomplishment, any new problem, anything that I have, and it's like this is the person that I confide, and this is the person that I go to. It's just like, oh, so it's like now where do I turn, what do I do? And it's so sad. Like I'll never forget this day we went to go, like I guess you'd call it like a vigil lighting ceremony type of thing. These two best friends, one of the best friends passed. Seeing him, he looked so empty. And I remember looking at you and I was like, damn, like what would I do if I lost you? Like it's just so heavy, and the magnitude of it. Sometimes even the little arguments, this, that, or the third, those things don't even matter now when it comes to like this magnitude of like death and the permanence of it. Like nothing else really matters. Everything else becomes so insignificant.
Literally. What do I do now? That's how you're left feeling. You can look at this in a negative way, but I personally don't. I remember having this conversation with somebody and they were like, oh well, you're like just like disregarding like what people have done to you. If you have that mindset though, like you can be too forgiving. And I don't feel like I could still choose to not have somebody around. Honestly, when you go through death that really hits home for you, everything becomes so unimportant. Oh god, wow, this person did this. Okay, who cares? I understand cheating, for example. That's not something okay, and I'm not saying you should stay in a relationship for it. But I've had people say, like, I want him dead for this. What? Like,
don't say stuff you don't mean, because then when it actually does happen,
you don't want that. And I was literally like, bro, like, please, you know? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I understand. And I'm like, no, like, I promise you don't even want that. Like, you may think that, but you don't want this person off of earth. When you really experience grief like that, like,
you look at things very differently.
You know, you look at things and like with so much love. Like, I just think that everybody who I've loved, I'll always love. Like, you know, and I really, like, I'm not saying that, and I don't, like, I'll always love them. I'll always care for them. That doesn't mean that I have to be in their life. I've loved the people I've loved, even if I walk across the street to avoid them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, I still love you. I'll still always love you, even if I decide not to talk to you anymore. Grief is really the final act of love. I feel like we can't truly understand the importance of suffering in this realm. I think that it's something way greater that we will understand when we pass. You will see them again when it's your time to go. You'll get to talk about it. You'll get to hug them, and that day will come, but let it come. Let it come. Do not make it earlier than it needs to be. Like, your time will come. That day is already made. People who die and pass at this young age, they've all been so special. Every person that I've met that has died young was so special, and I really feel like they were just too special for this physical experience. They weren't meant to be here for a long time. I think that they were meant to come here and like show people beauty and fun and, you know, just like amazing things, and then it was their time to go. It was their time to go back home. This place isn't our home, and I truly look at this as an interlude. It will all make sense, like you said, at the end, but I think that when we go before our time, we didn't get to do what we were supposed to here. We didn't get to learn what we were supposed to, and it's like, what helps me sometimes is like, I don't want to come back here. I want to learn the lessons I'm supposed to.
Like, we're all gonna die anyway. I just don't want anyone taking that into their own hands and limiting themselves, hurting themselves, because you end up hurting yourself in the end. Like, yeah, you're literally hurting yourself, but like, I feel like spiritually you end up hurting yourself too. As hard as things get, it's not going to be hard forever. I especially believe that for good-hearted people, it's not fair. Like, there's no way. There has to be like a yin and yang in the universe. Like, there has to be good coming. There has to be. If you're a good person, there has to be. And that's why sometimes in this world we see a lot of evil people having good to them. And I always see good people, bad things happening to them. And I'm like, why is it? Why is this like that? This world is not really what you think. And things are going to end up balancing themselves. Yeah, they're going to balance themselves out.
I struggle with this all the time. Probably my biggest struggle as of right now. I don't feel like I deserve good. I don't feel like I even deserve to live a lot of the time. Like, that's how much I'm struggling with, like, who I am and, like, self-forgiveness, almost as if you don't deserve good things. Maybe that's why they're not coming, because I clearly don't even deserve it. God doesn't even feel like I deserve it, right? Because clearly I've just been suffering for so long. You do deserve good things, I promise you, no matter what anybody has told you, or if you tell yourself that you don't, you do deserve that, and it's going to come to you. You will not suffer forever.
Mm-hmm. You're such a good person, though, Kiana. Like, I really, really, really need you to know that. Like, you're a good-hearted person with a good soul. You care about people, like, on a level that it's very unmatched. Like, I haven't seen a lot of people care about people the way you have, and I feel like you beat yourself up so much for, like, everything. But I feel like that's also kind of a symptom of being a really good person. It's like every little thing you think about so much. How is this impacted? How did they interpret this? Oh my gosh, are they feeling hurt? Oh, this, that. Like, you will literally, like, drive yourself insane, and then because you're doing that, you're just putting yourself down and down and down each time. I feel like you almost, like, don't give yourself grace. Even if, like, you do fuck up, which, like, everyone can in life fuck up, you just, like, take that fuck up as, this is who I am morally. This is who I am at my core, is this fuck up. But it's like, you would see somebody else and realize how complex a human is. They're not just made up of fuck ups. They're so much more than that. But I feel like you also need to, like, view yourself in the same light. Like,
you're right. It's like what you said, like, we're not our worst moments, you know, and I think that, like, people like to make you that, you know, like, well, you did that, so that's what you equate to, and it's like, no one is their worst moments. That's not a reflection of who you are. We're literally all learning, and I do have to give myself that same grace, and it's like, that's really one of the hardest things I've ever, I don't know why it's so difficult for me, it always has been, but even you too, Destiny, for sure, like, I always will say this, like, you are really, like, the most kind-hearted person I've ever came across in my life of living, you know? And there's moments where you don't feel like that, and it's crazy to me, you know? It's like, how do you not see all this good that you've done, you know? Like, how do you not see how amazing you are and how pure-hearted you are and kind, you know? But it really is a symptom, I think, of being good, and it's true. I don't think that bad people worry about being bad. I really don't.
They
think
sleep so well that night. Like,
yeah, they
what?
sleep well. If you are so worried about, like, a fuck up you've made, I'm just a bad person, you're probably a very good person who fucked up, maybe, and, like, that's it. Yeah, you fucked up and that's it. That's really it. like everybody else in this fucking world, to some extent or another. Maybe you feel like your extent is so crazy, but I promise you feel like that because it's you. You know, if your best friend came and told you that, you probably would not say that to her. You wouldn't be like, you deserve to die for what you've done, you're a horrible person. And that's not because she's your friend and you're just gonna be nice, it's because you know that. And she's so much more than that. So, yeah, like, we do need to extend the same grace that we would give to the people we love to ourselves. We have to live with who we are for the rest of our lives. So you have to like that person.
Yeah. What are those people called that would, like, send people to the gulag or whatever? Like, we've become those people a lot of times, and especially on, again, like, social media. People are quick to condemn, and, like, condemn to the most severe degree for everything. Some things, deserve condemning, don't get me wrong. Not everyone should get a free pass.
Deserve grace. And that is not something that we give. That's not the way. You can tell somebody, yo, you need to work on this, but this is not who you are. Like, there's ways of telling somebody that they've hurt you or that you're upset with them for something that they've done without making it their entire character. There is a way to do that without putting somebody down, belittling their whole entire existence and being. You can do both. And just because someone has hurt you, I think people also need to understand, most of the time it has nothing to do with you. And that's this whole thinking we have where it's like everything's about us. No, a lot of the time, most of the time, especially people who are really struggling and they hurt you or something, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them.
They're really fighting their own demons.
Fighting their own. Because of that, in turn, they hurt people.
Hurt people.
And themselves. Like, trust me, if you what they've done to me so horrible, they're such a horrible person. Imagine what it's like being them. Probably even worse. Like, their punishment is who they are.
Are you okay? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, I never really, like, see you cry.
Yeah, never. That
cry.
just really made me emotional. Bro, it's so hard to, like, be so low. It just hurts me to even, like, imagine that, like, other people also have to feel that. And that there's some people that don't have a destiny, the support system that I have, and they're just trying to push through by themselves. And especially when there's so many people that are just so mean, you know, and like hateful.
And like kick somebody when they're down.
Yeah, literally. It's crazy. The same things that you used to confide in them about, that's the same shit they'll spite you for. Like, how does that work? Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, you're knowing somebody is going through this, somebody apparently, you know, said you loved and cared about, and then you turn around, you're not in their life anymore. They're like shaming you for those same dark moments that you were going through, and it's like, people just need to do better. Like,
people just need to do good by themselves and then do good by other people, because that's all this is all really about, is just like human connection, relationships, and
love. Yeah. If it's not about love, then what is it about?
Unfortunately, because some people are so fucked up in the head, they don't know how to love properly. So some of those people can't even be around you to love. They have to go to a facility. They have to do a lot of like self-growth work in order to be even capable.
And don't make those people make you feel like you're not lovable, or don't ever give somebody that power. I'm sure if we met you, we would be like, wow, this person's amazing. You know, so just like talk to yourself how you would the person you love most in this world.
That's literally what like Billie Eilish was saying. She was like, oh, like if you could see yourself like the way I see you, you know, and the way she was talking about it, I was like, oh, she's so beautiful, like she's such a beautiful soul, and like really, like it's like you wish you could just go inside somebody's brain and like let them in on what you know about them, how you feel about them. But
like, you're, you know, like, what is, you're perfect, like, how, you know what I mean, like, how are you fighting these things? Everybody's dealing with something that they don't talk about. Everybody. So just be kind and like show love even in moments you don't want to. Love you. Have a good day whenever you guys listen to this.
Have a good life.
Have a good life.
Rest of your life, because everyone's gonna live super long and super happy.
You don't even know how you look to me. You are beautiful, special, talented. It's not actually possible to see ourselves how somebody else sees us, but if it was, you literally wouldn't believe it. Like, if I could give you my
view of yourself,
you would be so shocked and so stoked because it's awesome.
How do I even exist in the world? I'm just here like a floating little blob going around, like, I don't know. Okay, bye!